welcome back. Well, it's not welcome back. I mean, welcome back to the channel. But should I say, welcome to the first edition of the Spider Talk live news show. And essentially what this is, if you don't know, if you're new around here, or if you've, if you watched the channel for a while and you want to know what's going on, essentially we're going to turn the weekly Tuesday live streams, I say weekly, they haven't really been weekly, but we're going to turn the weekly Tuesday live streams into a new show where we can all get talking about Spider-Man. Hi, Echo, Stooge, how are we doing? And we've got some very interesting topics today. The thumbnail has probably caught your eye, and we'll definitely get to that in a second. But yes, we've got some very interesting topics today. I thought, why not, turn the live stream into a news show. I was running out of things to do tier lists about. I may go back to doing it, a monthly tier list maybe at some point. I don't know if you guys, want that, but mainly this is going to be now a news show where we talk all Spider-Man news and kind of cover everything, because I feel like sometimes when I get caught up in making videos about the comics or maybe videos about something else, sometimes I maybe miss the news. I don't really talk about it too often. But hello everyone, how are we doing in the chat? So yeah, we've got very interesting topics today, mostly regarding MCU Spider-Man 4, which as you could probably tell by the thumbnail is going to be a very hot topic for tonight. Mezzo Mind, how are we doing? How is everyone today? Monkey Vision, Raheel, Kellyan, how are we all doing? Yeah. I mean, why not? Let's just get straight into it. Have you seen the new trailer for the Kraven movie? There's a trailer? Oh my god. Imagine it. Imagine. On air. Alexis Martin, how are we doing? Is there actually a trailer? No, there's no way it's a trailer. Is there actually? Are they doing... they do Sony's idea for Spider-Man 4. That is what we're going to talk about. That is what we're going to talk about. There isn't a new trailer. Thoughts on Doomblazer? Okay, well, we're going straight into it. Thoughts on Doomblazer? There's a new trailer. What? There's a new trailer for Kraven? Sorry, I'll talk about Doomblazer in a second. There's a new Kraven trailer? It's just out. On what, Sony Pictures? Surely not. How's this happened? This always happens to me. Hey, Cindy Flick. Welcome to the stream. I'm not a cat. No, there's not. No, there's not a trailer. What's going on with MCU Spider-Man? So, yeah, MCU Spider-Man, that's what we're going to be talking about today. MCU Spider-Man, basically the topic for today's conversation, and I want to know what you guys think about it straight away. Hey, William, how we doing? Is MCU Spider-Man. So, if you don't know, a bunch of stuff has been coming out recently regarding MCU Spider-Man, mainly from Daniel RPK, but other insiders as well, basically in the community. And they have said that MCU Spider-Man 4 apparently is going to be, it's a clash between Sony and it's a clash between Marvel Studios. And it's this battle that is constantly going back and forth, and we keep getting reports and reports about it. Essentially, the deal is that apparently Sony Pictures wants this movie to be a multiverse movie. And if that ends up happening, we are in massive, massive trouble. Because they essentially want Tobey Maguire back, they want Andrew Garfield back, they probably want to throw in more Spider-Man, try and capitalize on the multiverse a bit more, so we're probably looking at Miles Morales, we're probably looking at Spider-Gwen, we're probably looking at Jessica Drew, we're probably looking at other versions of Spider-Man, possibly even crossing over with animated stuff. The possibilities are endless. However, on the other side of the spectrum is Marvel Studios. Marvel Studios wants a street-level story. Specifically, Kevin Feige and Tom Holland want a street-level Spider-Man story. So it's this clash of ideologies. Sony obviously want to cash in on the multiverse. This is obvious. Sony want to make, obviously, Spider-Man 4 the most successful Spider-Man movie of all time. No Way Home was the most successful Spider-Man movie of all time, grossing in almost $2 billion, which is absolutely mental on any scale, no matter what you are, a movie, whatever it is crazy. And Marvel Studios is obviously thinking about the MCU, partly because they've got Echo, they've got Daredevil, they've got the street level story being set up, and Kevin Feige obviously wants to add to it. And he thinks obviously Spider-Man could be a great part of it, could add greatly to the story, potentially even a crossover down the line. And that's what Kevin Feige wants to do. Spidey 4 got me worried, man. Yeah, me too. This is the conversation. So I'm going to ask you guys a question. Everyone in the chat right now. Multiverse movie for Spider-Man 4? Or street level story for Spider-Man 4. I'm trying to prove a point here. On any chance that we can get a message to Sony. And if you do want a multiverse movie, tell me why. In fact, if you want a street level story, tell me why as well. I hope Marvel need a straight here movie to save Toby and Andrew from Secret Wars. Well, they're going to be in Secret Wars. No multiverse, says Mezzo Mind. Yeah, the multiverse is totally not old already. Tell that to Sony. It's funny how Sony has such little love and care for their cash grab. It just can't write a good Spider-Man story. Absolutely. 100% right. We need a street level story after all the multiverse stuff, probably best after Secret Wars. A street level tone is perfect to the ground character focus Peter Parker's story. Exactly. I like your video, says Louis. Thank you very much. Street level 100. Exactly. Make a poll. Oh, I can do that. That's true. I can do that. I'm not very good at this live thing. You guys will know. Make a poll. Okay, here we go. MCU Spider-Man 4. If I can spell Spider-Man. Plot. Multiverse or street level. There we go. And we've added that in there. So there you go. Yeah, so street level, bring on the Kingpin, says Alexis. Spider-Man is better with street level story. Yeah, exactly. We already have seen the multiverse, and we never got to look at the organized crime side of things in any of the Spider-Man movies. And SR Striker makes a very, very good point here. Very compelling point about this is that if Sony do want to go with the multiverse, they are taking away from a very potentially good story. So one thing that we saw in the Tobey Maguire movies, actually we didn't see it in the Tobey Maguire movies. One thing that we saw in the Andrew Garfield movies is we did get glimpses of that street level crime sort of style that Spider-Man works so well with. For example, Spectacular Spider-Man does it. The 90s show did it partly. You know, Spider-Man has this element of his character that deals with street level crime. And it's by far one of the most interesting parts of his character, part of his stories. And SR Striker makes a very good point here, is that we've never really seen it in any of the movies. I mean, especially the MCU movies, right? I mean, Vulture maybe, but like I'm talking about the Kingpin. I'm talking about the Magic Crime Family. I'm talking about that kind of gritty, like really get rough, down and dirty story for Spider-Man. And we have never seen it. What do you think of MCU Spider-Man? Me, no hope. Thanos said his reasons. Rip Marvel and DC and Star Wars. Says you throw all of them in there. Bloody hell. We seriously need a street level story and do not do a multiverse story for Spider-Man. Is that a missed opportunity in all the previous Spider-Man movies? I think it is a missed opportunity. The reason why we need street level is because it could show how Kingpin could rise to power if he could hire Scorpion. That's a good point. Archie says, want to say your video is a class. I found you from your Spider-Man 3 pre-write and was amazed how good your storytelling is. Thank you very much. I do appreciate that. I do want to put this out there, though. If you guys aren't subscribed to Lewis Fiction, that is now my fan fiction channel where I do pre-writes and stuff like that. This is purely for opinion. This channel now is purely for opinion-based pieces. Obviously, the live show now where we talk about the news. I've kind of separated the fan fiction stuff because there's an audience for that, right? There's an audience for that. There's an audience for this type of content. So we've separated them now. But if you do like that sort of stuff, I have got that channel. Look, I don't mind Toby and Andrew coming back to the MCU, but not right now. Do it for a different movie that has a bigger scale and threat. Okay, then. So let's put this out there then. So we've got the street level poll. So obviously that's very true, I guess you could say. You guys very much want a street level story. Yeah. So now let's put another poll out. We're putting another poll out. I'm going to ask you another question. If Toby and Andrew come back, what movie should it be? Okay, I'm very curious. Is it a Spider-Man film? Is it Avengers film? Or is it potentially a Spider-Verse animation / live action? Oh no, we'll just go animation. Spider-Verse animation. There you go. So if Toby and Andrew come back, is it which one would you rather have? Because obviously, I think it's interesting. Toby and Andrew are going to come back. It's simple as that. They're going to come back at some point, whether it's Secret Wars, whether it's Spider-Verse, whether it's MCU Spider-Man 4. They're coming back, right? It's going to happen. Sony want it to happen. Marvel, obviously, are trying to push against it, but as we know, Sony usually gets their way. They want to do a multiverse in order to bring in the Sonyverse. I'd assume Peter would be going through the multiverse this time as opposed to the multiverse coming to him. That's a very good point, actually. If they do a multiverse movie, it probably will be Peter going to the Sonyverse. It probably would include, in some variety, Tom Hardy's Venom, possibly Madam Web. You don't know, right? It could just be a ridiculously big Spider-Verse movie. Bigger doesn't always equal better, says Lordley. Spider-Man works better for smaller personal dramas, in my opinion. No Way Home ending gave a great entry point for that too. Would be a waste for that to either go nowhere or to be undone. And this is one thing that MCU Spider-Man has. If I refer to my other video that I made the other day, last week, should I say, basically, I touched on this point, right? Essentially, MCU Spider-Man tends to sort of border on the edge of setting something up and then never paying it off. It's happened many times, right? Spider-Man Homecoming, we look at the setup of Scorpion for Far From Home, never went through with it. Far From Home obviously set up No Way Home, but that doesn't really count because they led into one another. Now, No Way Home is setting up a bunch of stuff for Street Level, Kingpin to come in, potentially even Scorpion to come back. If they go with the multiverse, they're going back on where the character is ending up. It doesn't, MCU Spider-Man is becoming notorious for this sort of thing, and it's really, really annoying. So, yeah. I hope Spider-Man 4 has a darker tone. I think it would work. Yeah, I agree. That was trickier. Choose Avengers because we know that they're going to come back and Beyond the Spider-Verse. I heard a recent report that they want Miles to be in 4, which first off, way too early, and second, they're already working on a solo film that's not really part of the MCU, which is really funny. We're actually going to come to this, by the way. We're actually going to come to this. I realized my mic is way too loud. We're going to come to this. So obviously, we're just currently talking about the multiverse versus street level thing that's going on in the MCU right now for Kevin Feige versus Sony. But another good point that people, I think, need to think about, realize, I guess you could say, is also recent reports, like I said, MCU Spider-Man 4 has been doing the rounds, is that they want Miles Morales to appear in the film. And not anyone specifically, well, no, someone specifically. It's not Marvel Studios, of course, it's Sony. And I think the reason they want Miles Morales in MCU Spider-Man 4, this is my speculation. This is coming in from Daniel RPK as well. The reason why I think they do is because I think they want to use Miles Morales in MCU Spider-Man 4 as a backdoor pilot to the Miles Morales movie, which I think, slightly insulting, made a very good point earlier, is that they're probably going to use MCU Spider-Man 4 if it's a multiverse movie to tie it into the Sonyverse. If Miles appears in the movie, then they're definitely 100% going to use it as a backdoor pilot to open up to the Miles movie that they're doing in live action. So, with that being said, I ask you guys in the chat. Number one, if Miles does show up in MCU Spider-Man 4, do you want it to connect to the Miles movie that they're making in live action? Which I'm totally fine with, by the way. I really want a Miles Morales movie in live action. I think that's a really good idea. Number two, do you want Miles Morales in the MCU? Like, do you want Miles Morales to appear in this film altogether? Like, forget the solo film. Do you want him to appear in like, this movie specifically? So, I think these are two interesting questions. Bila says, do we need Miles? In MCU Spider-Man 4, this is the question. I don't personally think we do. I think there are more stories to tell with Peter Parker first. And I'm not going to say, no, let's not put Miles in there, because Miles is a great character, and the Spider-Verse movies and the games have proved this. But I'm kind of bordering on the edge of... Okay, right. I'm going to sound bad for saying this. I'm going to sound very bad for saying this, because I've been a big advocate of Miles being in pretty much everything for the last, like, I don't know how many years, 5 years. I'm a big advocate of them doing Miles after Peter. I always think that's the natural progression for the story. I love when they do Miles after Peter, right, in the games. I think it works. I think it works in every sort of narrative for Spider-Man. Miles always is a successor to Peter. However, I do not think this movie needs Miles, and I don't think they should do it. Kind of going back on myself slightly, but I think there's more to unpack with this Peter Parker. I'm fine with it when Peter's 8 years down the line, as he was in Marvel Spider-Man 1, sorry. That's the time for Miles to come in. The story is just as much as about Miles as it is about Peter. That was what they were going for. However, this Spider-Man has more stories to tell. He's done the multiverse, he's done a vacation, and he's fought the Vulture. There's nothing of substance there in terms of like the potential. You know what I mean? Super Warrior says, what did I miss? Nothing much, we're just talking MCU Spider-Man 4. Now, I don't think we need Miles for the MCU. William says, yeah, they gotta have, like, can we meet Miles' dad, and then at the end of the movie, could he introduce Peter to his family? Don't want Miles in MCU Spider-Man 4. Tell Peter stories, flesh out his supporting cast too, let him grow up, and then introduce Miles at a later point. And Lordy makes a very good point here as well. They have not, in any form of the word, really put any depth behind any of the supporting characters. Now, it's fine for one movie, right? I don't mind MJ being a side character, or a very minor character for one movie, and then kind of building her up. I don't mind that, right? And I don't mind it if they do it again. But one thing that they tend to not really do, apart from maybe Liz Allen, is they didn't really flesh out any of the characters. And this was interesting because the films like Tobey Maguire films and the Andrew Garfield films spent a lot of time with the supporting cast, but the MCU just wasn't something there. I don't know, there was just wasn't enough substance there, in my opinion. So yeah, I think they need to flesh out Peter's supporting cast first before they even think of doing Miles Morales. We need more MJ. Maybe more Flash Thompson. Who knows? Ned Leeds. Give me some more Ned Leeds. Maybe even do Ned Leeds as Hobgoblin. Who knows? So, don't know. Teases are fine though, says Lordly. Yeah. Would you want Daredevil to be a main character in Spider-Man 4 or no? Now, this is a very interesting point. I'm actually going to put this to you guys. Most of you said Avengers film for that Toby and Andrew thing, which is interesting. I'm going to put this to you guys. Tell me in the chat, and I'm also going to start another poll as well. So this time, I'm going to ask you guys, would you... I've lost my train of thought now. We're talking about Miles Morales, weren't we? That was it. Would you like Ned Leeds as a villain in the new trilogy? I think this is a valid question. I think this is a valid question. Because I think if they do it right, there's a potential for this to go really well. Right? It makes the most sense. There's a potential for this to go really well if they do it right. Right? I see that the poll is 50. It's pretty much 50-50 split here. It's pretty much 50-50. Oh, it's pretty much 50-50. You know what? But I personally believe that if they get this right, then there's a very, very big chance that this could go really well. You commented, would you want Daredevil? That was what I was going to poll. You know what? I completely lost my train of thought. Would I want Daredevil in MCU Spider-Man 4? William, thank you for reminding me. I'll do that poll after this one. But this is still a good poll I think you guys should comment on. Because this is something that I think... Yeah. Miles could be a classmate, says Bela. Yeah, I mean, possibly... It's not out the realms of possibility. Okay, here's a question then in the chat. I know I'm overloading you guys with information right now. If Miles Morales is in MCU Spider-Man 4, what role does he take, right? Is it a classmate? Is it a superhero? Is it a friend? Is it a kid younger than Peter Parker? Is it someone the same age? What kind of role is it? Is it the best friend? Because remember, there were rumors over a year ago now that Miles Morales was going to be the roommate and best friend of Peter Parker, which was quite funny that they were going to go that route. But where would you guys see that? Daredevil could serve as a good mentor role. This is the thing, though. I don't think MCU Spider-Man needs another mentor. Now, Spider-Man films with mentors work really well, but in my opinion, this does not need a mentor. Spider-Man does not need a mentor in this new film. I think he's grew past that. I think he's grew up, and I think it's time for him to take on the world on his own. And I think if he has another mentor, it's just like, we're just making steps backwards, personally. I do agree, though. Daredevil would be a good mentor, but I don't think that needs to be the relationship. I would love an MCU film with Miles in it, but I think the Spider-Man character is better with personal street-level stories overall. It fits in his origin and age. I know what you mean, Lewis, but look at MCU Ned. He doesn't scream villain. Well, this is the thing. What I'm saying is, if they do it right, okay? If they do it right. But yeah, Miles could be a student Peter tutors if Peter looks for a part-time job. That's a very, very good idea. In fact, I'm going to write that one down. That's very good. But how would he be the roommate Peter's like 18 when he gets to part? Miles would have to be at least 14. Well, this is the idea. The idea is that they make Miles the same age as Peter, which there was a lot of backlash to that idea because obviously that means that they would be the same age. I'm going to do the next poll now. So, Daredevil in MCU Spider-Man 4. This is the next poll. Daredevil and MCU Spider-Man 4. I think I know where this is gonna go, but I'm curious if anyone says no. And if anyone does say no, I'm curious as to why. Yeah, so we've already got someone saying no. Why? If you don't want Daredevil and MCU Spider-Man 4, why? I'm really curious. I'm really curious. But they just keep making Peter immature, says SR Striker. Yeah, you make a very good point. They do, and this is the issue. I think he needs to grow up. Alternate universe Miles, I think his story should be on his own. I 100% agree. I'm fully behind this Miles movie that they're going to be doing, that Sony are doing, but I need it to be its own thing. I don't need it to be any multiverse shenanigans, Toby and Andrew coming into the equation, Tom coming into the equation, Spider-Verse Miles coming into the equation, Spider-Gwen coming into the equation. I need a Miles Morales movie, right? And people argue, yeah, that's what we got with Into the Spider-Verse. But come on, right? How good would just a solo Miles Morales movie be? Right? Even just as Prowler as the villain. Who knows? It would be awesome. Maybe Miles could be one of his new friends. That's a possibility. Daredevil in Spider-Man 4 could be cool, but would want him as just a friend. Would be cool to have Daredevil in a happier place in life to contrast with where Peter is to help build their friendship. That could be a very, very good way of looking at it. They could adapt the death of Jean DeWolf's story if they include Daredevil. That could be quite fun, actually. But I don't think the MCU would do that. I think that's too much of a niche story from the comics. By the way, 32 and watching and only 3 likes. Well, like the video, guys. If you like the video, what's going on? Leave a like, and if you're new here, subscribe. Like say they make Amazing Spider-Man 3, it could introduce like a Miles. Yeah, okay, right. Here's a good point. If you want to connect Miles to anything, right? If you want to connect Miles to anything, if Sony Pictures have got that much, if Sony Pictures have got that much of a rod to put Miles in something, right? If they have an obsession with putting Miles in something, put him in the Tasmverse, right? Make the Amazing Spider-Man 3. Andrew Garfield comes back, hands the torch over to Miles. There you go. There's your Miles Morales movie. And there's your Miles Morales trilogy. And there's your Miles Morales universe, right? So, yeah. Yeah, Sin Eater should have been the villain of the first Venom movie, says Baggins. My fault. I got you. Oh, thanks, Joey. I'm assuming you liked the video. Do either Toby or Andrew because Tom is too inexperienced and then super bored. Miles can be trapped in Tom's universe. I think Daredevil was in Spider-Man 4. It would feel cool, but I want the film to focus around Peter, and I feel Daredevil would just be another mentor character. So this is the point I'm making. I would love Daredevil to be in MCU Spider-Man 4. I would absolutely love that. I think that's a very, very good idea because I think the story works. Kingpin's going to be there. It all lines up, right? If this is the next crossover, let's go, right? However, is it the right choice? I don't know. I don't really know. I don't know. Sony is not competent enough to make a solo Miles Morales film without the help of Marvel. I definitely think he needs a live action film, but I don't trust them. See, this is the next thing, right? This is the next thing. Sony, Amy Pascal, according to insiders, right? According to insiders, Amy Pascal wants Kevin Feige to produce the Miles Morales movie. And this is why it's so interesting. This is why this is a part of the MCU Spider-Man 4 talk, right? Because it's all sort of weirdly mangling itself together, right? Sony want Kevin Feige... let me reiterate this. Sony Pictures, right? They want Kevin Feige to work on the Miles Morales movie. What this screams to me is they want to slyly, very slyly, slither their way into the MCU and MCU Spider-Man 4 with this movie, right? They want to slither in. They want to get their foot in the door with Miles Morales. Hey, Kevin, you can come work on this character that you love. Come on, yeah, that's it. Sign the contract. There you go. The contract's signed. Boom. There you go. Miles is in the MCU. There's nothing you can do about it, right? I don't know. I'm just saying. I mean, I don't mind Miles being in the MCU, but I hope. I don't want him yet. So, who should be the villain of MCU Spider-Man 4? I don't. I'm sick of this conversation about the villain. I don't care who the villain is at this point. I really don't. I care more about the quality of Peter's story. The villain could be Scorpion. The villain could be Kingpin. The villain could be Hydra Man. The villain could be Green Goblin. I do not care anymore. I just want. It could be Venom. I don't care. It could be Hobgoblin. As long as it's not Maulin, I don't care. You know what I mean? So they're luring Kevin into the MCU trap. Yeah, exactly. They are. Dude, turn off ads on live stream. They mess up. Oh, are ads on? Sorry, sorry, man. I'll turn the ads off. Hold on. Oh my god, there's a button to insert ads. I could just play loads of ads right now, and there's nothing no one could do about it. No, I'm joking. I won't do that. I'm not that mean. I didn't know you could. I think what happens is YouTube have ads. Oh yeah, I've just dropped loads of viewers. Right, there we go. I've keep the ads to get your bread. I can insert them manually now, so I'll put. I don't want to lose viewers. I've just dropped like 15 viewers in like one go because I think ad played. So, I've put. YouTube loves ads. They do. The thing is, I don't on a setting where I let YouTube control. I let YouTube control where the ads go. So now I control it. So I might put one in here or there, but I won't put them in very frequently. Got to make the bread. You know what I mean? Doing this full time now, so got to respect the bread. But I'm joking. I mean, I'm not joking, but like yeah. I mean, you guys come first. But yeah. It is what it is. Kevin Feige is going to be working on this movie, which is why we're talking about it so much, because that means that this movie could be in the MCU. So, yo, Lewis, the link I sent in the Discord, though, the Spidey 4 storyboards animated. Okay, yeah, so I saw this. This is another piece of news, and we'll come on to this in just a bit. This is the main topic. We're going to discuss the lighter sections of news towards the end of the stream, but that's a very good point. I do want to talk about that. If you haven't seen it, we'll explain, and it's really cool, so stick around. Yeah, I stopped the ads, by the way. Sorry, I saw Striker. I stopped the ads. Lewis, do you have any Beyond the Spider-Verse predictions, says Super Warrior? Right, so Beyond the Spider-Verse is one of those movies where I kind of can't put my finger on where they're going to go. I think that's what makes a really good movie, right? I think what makes a really, really good movie is when I can't exactly decide what they're going to do. You know what I mean? You know when you go into a movie and you can kind of tell what's going to happen, right? And you kind of know what direction they're going in. I think a good movie is got you absolutely clueless. They could go in any direction. And that's what makes a really good movie. So I think it's going to be peak, but I don't know. I really don't know. They've bamboozled me. The thing is, I was going to do a pre-write for Beyond the Spider-Verse after Across the Spider-Verse came out. But it's like one of those things where Across the Spider-Verse was that good that I don't think I could do it. I mentally can't think up a concept that could possibly follow on. I just can't. And if I do, I'll get back to you, but I probably won't. Genuinely, I have no idea. I hope they continue Miles' story in the best way possible. I hope Gwen isn't regulated to more of a background character, because Across the Spider-Verse was kind of her film. I hope they continue that form for her character, because I really love Gwen Stacy. Speaking of Gwen Stacy, by the way, I'm working on an audio drama for Gwen Stacy. Stay tuned. Yeah, it's like, Lewis, you think we should try more unknown stories from the more unknown stories from the comics? Yeah, I mean, I want to talk more unknown stories. I'm going to be talking, I think, in the next couple of weeks about Adventures of Spider-Man, which I think is the manga series. I'm not too sure. I haven't started reading it yet, but I've heard it's very good. People have told me to talk about it, so I'm going to read it, and I'm going to talk about it. Are you going to be pre-writing Beyond the Spider-Verse, says SR Striker? Not at the moment. When I figure out what I want to do, then yeah. Lewis, do you like the new Ultimate Spider-Man comic? If so, what would you rate it out of 10? I think at the moment it's like a 7 for me. 6, 7-ish. It's too early, really, to rate it overall. I don't like the whole Peter Destiny thing. Actually, while we're here, just gonna do Ultimate. Do you like the new Ultimate Spider-Man comic? There we go. New poll. There you go. While we're on the topic. Yeah, I like it. I think it's cool. I think it's refreshing. I think it's so much. Oh my god, Hickman's such a good writer. The dialogue just feels better. The writing, the characterization of everyone just feels so much nicer than it does in Amazing Spider-Man. So yeah, Hickman's doing a really good job. I don't like the whole Destiny thing, but I feel like they're gonna remedy this. I think they're doing it on purpose, right? I think what's happening here is they're doing. I think they're doing the whole Destiny thing, like, oh yeah, I'm Spider-Man, I guess, filling that part of my life. I think they're doing that on purpose so Peter can get absolutely battered in one of the upcoming comics, and he kind of goes, maybe this isn't for me. Maybe the whole being married and having kids and just settling down was probably better. And then he tries to quit. Uncle Ben dies. Boom, responsibility. What do you know? He's Spider-Man. And I reckon that's probably how they're going to do it. I hope they do it that way, but it'd be cool. It would. Yeah. You know what would be cool if they introduced Kraven? That would be cool. Read the Spider-Man Loves Mary Jane comics. I hear they're pretty good. I've actually got one of them. I forgot where it is. I've got one of them. Yeah. Lewis, what are your thoughts on Nick Cage being live-action Spider-Man Noir? Do you think it's time for 2099 film? Yes, so actually we're going to move on to that because it's a very good segue into the next piece of news, is that Nicolas Cage is, of course, going to be playing, or they want him to play, the Spider-Man Noir live-action. Now, this is interesting, right? Because Nicolas Cage is a brilliant actor. He's a brilliant actor, and I love Nicolas Cage. However, I gotta say, I don't know how I feel about them casting the same actor as who plays him in Into the Spider-Verse. The only reason I say this is because I feel as if it's more of a, I don't know, it seems more like a brand synergy type cast. You know what I mean? It doesn't seem like they want him to play him because he might possibly be the best. I mean, Nicolas Cage is Nicolas Cage at the end of the day. So, either way, it's peak casting. But it seems more like a brand synergy cast. And if that's the case, if it is a brand synergy cast, which Nicolas Cage as Spider-Man Noir seems very much like it, we could very much be entering a situation where this is the Spider-Verse Nicolas Cage Spider-Man Noir character. I wouldn't be totally opposed to that. However, if they're going to start doing characters from the Spider-Verse movies animation into live action, and they're going to try and continue the characters that they've already introduced, they could go down a very, very slippery slope of getting people confused, and especially with the Sonyverse, and that whole confusion with what universe Madam Web's in. and everything. I don't know. It's a whole slippery slope. I think it should be completely separate. I don't think they should connect animated, and especially when Sony doesn't know what they're doing themselves. Sony has no clue what they're doing. They have no clue what they want to do with the Sonyverse. They have no clue what they want to do with any of these characters, and they think they can just cast the same actor from the Spider-Verse movies to play him in live action. Sounds cool, but they haven't got anything figured out when it comes to. They haven't got anything figured out when it comes to the bloody. When it comes to the Sonyverse. Who thinks they could make this type of brand synergy casting and get away with it? Not me, and not anyone else, right? That's my only issue with it. Maybe I'm looking into it too much. I don't know. If Nick Cage doesn't shout the nod the bees, it's a 0 out of 10. Says the necessary mind. If Nick Cage is Spider-Man Noir in my eyes, whenever I read the comics, I hear his voice. Yeah, and the thing is, because he is the first voice for Spider-Man Noir, he's kind of become synonymous for that character's voice now. A lot of people hear him when they read the comics, etc. It would be weird as we'd see Spider-Verse Noir in 2 different tones. Then Spider-Man should be like Ghostface, as there's more than one, especially with Spider-Man and Destiny. Lewis, what are your thoughts on Daredevil and Ant-Man appearance in Spider-Man 4? Well, we just covered Spider-Man 4, but I'll briefly go over it for those of you who have just joined the stream. We didn't speak about Ant-Man, but that came out a few weeks ago, so that's quite old news now. But I think if they're putting Ant-Man in it, I think, judging off what we've gotten recently report-wise, I think that's very much Sony's doing in terms of wanting a bloody character from the MCU into the movie, because Ant-Man's synonymous with the multiverse now, isn't he? So, you know, it's just worry. I worry really, really badly. Actually, Christopher Daniel Barnes first voiced Noir in Spider-Man Shattered Dimension. Oh, yeah, sorry. Yeah, you are right. Yeah, you are right. He did. Sorry, I forgot about that. Yeah, I forgot Noir was in that game. Honestly, the only superheroes I care about are Spider-Man, Batman, and Invincible. So if Daredevil appears, I won't really care either way, says Mezzo Mind. Spider-Man Noir movie or show to me could be cool, as it... that could be a thing, not sure. Then another actor voiced him in Noir and Ultimate Spider-Man. Oh, I forgot he was in that as well. Bloody hell, what Spider-Man fan I am. Anyway, moving on to the next topic. I totally forgot what the next topic was going to be. I'm getting very, very I'm getting flustered by Sony at this moment in time. What was it? Someone said there was a. We were going to talk. I've totally forgot what the topic is. Jesus Christ, I'm not very good at this, am I? Yep, this is the first and last Spider Talk news show we're ever doing. No, I'm joking. Noir is 19 years old, so casting Cage would be a bit weird. Well, I mean, no, it depends what kind of Noir they want to do, right? If they're going with I think Noir is very much synonymous with an older, grittier Peter Parker, and I think that's probably what they're going to do, right? Spidey 4 storyboards. Thank you, Cineflick. Sorry, it was Cineflick, wasn't it? Yes, so in other news, a bit of a smaller news, but if you guys remember those Spider-Man 4, we're not talking MCU Spider-Man 4, we're talking Tobey Maguire Spider-Man 4 storyboards that were released a few years back now. Someone on YouTube has actually gone and animated them as to what the movie could have actually looked like. And if you haven't seen them, go check them out. Just type in on YouTube Spider-Man 4 storyboards. They're really, really cool. I really like them. They're great. And I think it's really cool because we get to see what the movie actually would have looked like. And yeah, I really love that. In other news, we've got obviously New Game Plus confirmed, obviously, for Marvel Spider-Man 2, a bunch of new suits and a bunch of stuff for that game coming out. One interesting thing that did come out of all these announcements from Insomniac and in interviews that have been conducted around the launch of New Game Plus is Yuri Lowenthal has actually talked about Marvel Spider-Man 3. He was asked the question, is Miles Morales going to become the new main Spider-Man in that universe? To which he had to say, I believe that Peter would want to stay down and retire and settle down with MJ, possibly, get on with his life. But he doesn't believe that's going to happen. And I think that very much teases us to the story that Peter is going to have in Marvel Spider-Man 3. It's very much going to be an internal conflict within himself to whether he stays and settles down with MJ or whether he gets pulled back into the action with Miles Morales. And people will say they don't like that story, but I think it works with this version of the character and where he's at. I think what they'll probably end up doing as a result of this is they'll probably end up having Peter and Mary Jane get engaged. They'll probably have Mary Jane become pregnant, and they'll probably use these kind of realistic instances of what it's like to settle down with a family to kind of create conflict and a tear between Peter and Miles in the third game, and try and sway Peter one way when he's also trying to be swayed the other. And I think that's what's going to happen. I definitely... Sorry, I just hit you guys there. Oh my god, my mic's doing some mad things. I definitely think Peter's going to die in Spider-Man 3, says the Mesozoic Mind. I definitely think so too. I mean, I think everyone can see it coming. I wonder who's going to write it, says Netta. They said that it may not even be Peter Parker in the Noir show, which would be the worst possible decision as of the MCU Sony. Which, yeah, I saw that. I don't think that's got much grievance behind it though, because who else would it be? You know, an original character. It could work, but I don't know. Maybe Peter will return when Miles is in trouble fighting the Green Goblin. He'll come in and help him. Possibly that could be an option. But at least that Spider-Man 3 would be a send-off to Peter Parker. I like Noir until he cheated on MJ. How would you want Miles Morales in Spider-Man 4? I'd probably want him as just a kid, like no powers, nothing. If they're gonna introduce Miles, I want it to be done slowly, and hopefully that's what they do. It could be like the Uncharted 4 of Spider-Man games for Peter. I'll be peed off if they do an Arkham Knight in Spider-Man 3. Please don't kill Peter off in Marvel Spider-Man 3. No, the main villain of Spider-Man 3 should be the brick wall. God damn it. Let's end this poll then, the Ultimate Spider-Man comic. So 14% of you don't like it, which is more than I thought it'd be. Right, let's have another poll. Okay, so let's say Peter to die in Marvel Spider-Man 3. Let's have a look. Let's see what percentage of you guys think this. I can't wait for Miles Morales Spider-Boy. If MCU Spider-Man 4 adapted Ultimate Marvel Knights with them be taking down the Kingpin along with an arc maturing Peter would be pretty cool. Are we getting another Green Goblin? We are probably, yeah. We're probably going to get a new Green Goblin. We're probably going to get... we're definitely going to be getting a new Green Goblin. We're going to be getting Norman Osborn in Marvel Spider-Man 3 becoming the Green Goblin. 100%. So, yeah. Or Devil Rain, says SR Striker. Yeah. So, it's very interesting. I want to know. You guys are... No! Oh, my God. Okay, so... You guys don't want Peter to... Or you don't think he'll die? This is the question, right? Bro, why don't you have an Instagram? I do have an Instagram. It should be in the description down below. I don't really post on it much, but you know... if they kill Insomniac Peter, I'll be so peed off because Yuri Lowenthal is one of the best takes on Peter Parker. 100%. I think Marvel Spider-Man's... Okay, Yuri Lowenthal as an actor is one of the best Peter Parkers. However, before Marvel Spider-Man 2 came out, it was very much a tie between Spectacular Spider-Man and Marvel Spider-Man in terms of which was the best adaptation for me personally, and I kind of swayed back and forth for a very long time. Marvel Spider-Man 2 kind of solidified that it was Spectacular Spider-Man for me, because I felt like I understood what they were trying to do with Peter in that game, that he was kind of hiding behind the idea of May's death really holding him back. But I didn't feel like... It felt like it was very much only touched upon when the plot called for it to be, and it wasn't really too obvious that that's what was going on. And people will say, well, that's because obviously he was hiding it, and like that's the whole point of the story. But yeah, but also it kind of feels like a very salty resolution to a story when the audience doesn't really understand something. I don't know if that makes any sense. I'm trying to just put my thoughts into words here. But I didn't really like... I think Peter could have been handled better in Marvel Spider-Man 2, is what I'm saying. I didn't think he was the best character in the world. Insomniac writing downhill after Spider-Man 1, says Netta. Insomniac Peter is my favourite version of Spidey, but Spectacular Spidey is so close behind. I've got a Spectacular Spider-Man video coming tomorrow, actually, so that could be interesting. Okay, I don't get it. When the first game came in 2018, people were praising it like hell, but ever since part 2, they're saying he's trash. Popularity is declining. I don't know why. So Jay, I'll tell you why. It's mainly because Marvel Spider-Man 2, in a lot of people's opinion, is not as good as Marvel Spider-Man. And it's not that Peter's a bad character, because he's not, right? Let's not get this wrong. Peter's not a bad character by any means, right? However, 24 Bricks, hello, welcome to the stream. But the way he was handled, I believe anyway, in my opinion, in Marvel Spider-Man 2, downgraded his character. I felt like he wasn't handled as well as he was in the first part. So when the first part came out, everyone thought, wow, this is amazing. He's one of the best Spider-Man we've ever gotten. Everything is perfect. 2 comes out. It's not as great. It's not handled as well. And people are like, maybe it wasn't that great. Maybe 1 was lightning in a bottle. Spider-Man 2 is a good game. Yeah, it's still a good game. I think Spider-Man 1 is arguably a better game, but I do enjoy Spider-Man 2 more. I think Spider-Man 2 is a better game, but Spider-Man 1 is the better story, and that's kind of the way that I kind of differentiate it. And most Spider-Man people would just shut up and just enjoy the games. I enjoy them. I enjoy all 3 of them. I think all 3 of them are the best 3 Spider-Man games ever made. Like, even Marvel Spider-Man 2, which I don't enjoy as a story as much as the first one, or Miles Morales, I think is still top 3. You know what I mean? So I don't think he'll die, just simply that Insomniac has proven that Peter and Miles can coexist. And that's a very good point. We're moving into an era, a new era. And I think the Spider-Verse movies were very much the end of this era. We are now moving into an era where Peter and Miles coexist. It happens in the television shows, it's happening in the kids' shows, and it's now happening in the games. And I would not be surprised by any means that when we get to, by the end of this franchise that Insomniac are creating with the Spider-Man characters, that we have Spider-Gwen in there as well. I would not be surprised. Or some variation of Spider-Woman. I would not be surprised by any means. And that's because they're trying to make it so they coexist. And there's nothing wrong with that, by any means. I just think that that's the path that we're going. I think Into the Spider-Verse was very much the end of that kind of, oh, Peter has to die for Miles to exist kind of train of thought. That brings me to my next poll, actually. Ray reminded me I could do these polls, and I'm loving them. So here's your new poll, right? Would you have a Spider-Gwen game? Right? Let's think about Spider-Gwen for a second. And why? So comment. Let me just put brackets comment. There you go. Just to remind you guys. There we go. But yeah, I think it's really interesting because the people that are growing up now, so kids nowadays, so you're looking at, as young as maybe 5 years old and up to, the teenagers that are growing up with today's Spider-Man shows, which are obviously Spidey and His Amazing Friends on Disney Plus, and Disney Channel or whatever it's on. And then obviously you've got your Marvel Spider-Man 2017, going to be Spider-Man freshman year, and obviously the MCU new trilogy. The people that are growing up with Spider-Man nowadays are going to get a whole different perspective because they're going to see Miles, Gwen, and everyone coexist. So by the time they've grown up and they're my age or you guys' age, be able to understand Spider-Man a little bit more on a mature level, we're going to be in a position where there are probably going to be movies about Miles, Gwen, and Peter. There are probably going to be video games about Miles, Gwen, and Peter. There are probably going to be shows, maybe even adult shows about Miles, Gwen, and Peter. I just think it's very interesting. We're slowly, steadily heading in that direction. Spider-Man 2 is my favorite, but I think Spider-Man 1 is better, says 24 Bricks. That's kind of how I think about it as well. So yeah. So what are we saying? Yes? No. Why? Just not interested, said SL Striker. Yes, but the Insomniac universe in a separate continuity, says Super Warrior. I think other Spider people should have their own games. I want Gwen game, but not to be connected to the Insomniac universe. I want Spider-Man 3 ASAP. Says 24 Bricks. Yeah, okay, so I think the general consensus is no Spider-Verse, no Spider-Gwen game because we believe it possibly might connect to the Spider-Verse. And I think this brings me on to a very, I guess you could say maybe, I don't know, what could we say? This brings me on to a very sour point about the Gwen character as a whole. Spider-Gwen, I think, is very, very unlucky to be connected to the Spider-Verse because I think she's a fantastic character. So much potential, so much grievance, so much malleability there. And I think it's really a shame because she's so heavily connected to the Spider-Verse in every story she's in. And this is why I'm making an audio drama about it. If you don't know, I'm making a Spider-Gwen audio drama on LewisFiction. It will be out soon. More details coming soon. for the members first. So if you're a member, then you will be getting details first. But this is why I'm doing it, because I believe that there's potential there for that story to happen, and I think it should be done. I think it needs to be done. And I thought, well, we're not going to get it anytime soon. Why not do it myself? Definitely not on any. By the way, I'm not saying I could do it on any of the quality that top quality writers can do, or Dan Slott, or whoever created the character. But what I'm saying is, I feel like I have a story within me that I feel like can be expressed for Spider-Gwen that I think possibly could be quite interesting. And I know it's locked up somewhere within her character. It just needs to be extracted. Shattered Dimensions started this. I think is a good thing to have the game's different Spider people offering a different perspective on the mantle compared to Peter and Miles. Maybe a classic comic Spider-Man game. That would be really awesome. I am so, I don't know, just weirded out that we've never gotten an actual comic Spider-Man game apart from the Neversoft games, right? How have we never, ever gotten like a Spider-Man game that just follows the comics? How has this never happened? How has this ever happened? I don't get it. Lewis, what Marvel project, not just Spider-Man, are you most excited about? Now, I find it really hard to comment on this. And 24 Breaks will know specifically because I posted a video for the members the other day about Echo, right? And I mentioned in the video that Echo, I think, has a massive problem that the MCU has, which is that it's kind of quantity over quality, and that's what it feels like. Echo got me really excited when the trailer came out. The trailer was really, really good. And I think, actually, I'm going to ask you guys in the chat. Did you guys think the Echo trailer was really good? Because I did. The issue is now, I'm not excited for any MCU project. I'm not excited for any Marvel project. I'm just not. I don't care anymore. I'm not excited for Kraven or Venom 3. Even though they're Spider-Man characters. So, yeah, if I had to pick one, obviously it would be Spider-Man 4, but if not Spider-Man, I don't know. I don't know. Daredevil. Possibly Daredevil. Yeah, that'll probably be it. That'll be my answer. Can we get new stickers from Madam Web? Oh, absolutely. We can make that happen. Oh, I don't know. Do you want Madam Web stickers, though? It'd be an insult to the members. It'd be an insult to give you Madam Web stickers. No, I will put some Madam Web stickers on there. I prefer when Peter Parker has one and only Spidey because adding so many other ones makes Peter lose what made him special. I disagree. I think they're all special in their own right. I think Miles is special in his own right. I think Gwen's special in her own right. Just finished Spider-Man 2. Now I just want to play the spin-off and the third game. Oh my god, what a game. Yeah, it's a great game, yeah. The Ultimate Spider-Man game technically does. Oh, yeah, I mean, technically is its own thing, just based off the comics, following from the story that they had. But yeah, technically. What about the Wolverine video game? Looks alright. The trailer was good. Yeah, exactly. What about Deadpool 3? Oh, Deadpool 3. Actually, yeah, I'm excited for that. That's true. I forgot about that. I missed the days when I only focused on Peter Parker's world. No, I like Miles. I like all those characters. So this is unrelated, but Lewis, apparently Jurassic Park / Jurassic World 4 is happening next year. Yeah, it is. Yeah, I mean, just another franchise that's getting battered. But apart from that, Spider-Man news-wise, I think that's pretty much it. We've covered all this week's news. Unless I've missed anything, you guys let me know in the chat. But it's mainly just MCU Spider-Man. It's the MCU Spider-Man show. It's the MCU Spider-Man show this week. A lot of Miles Morales news, a lot of Peter Parker. MCU Spider-Man 4 news. Yeah, it's doing the rounds, and obviously next week's live stream we will get back to any more reports that come out, because I bet you there'll be some. At the rate that it's coming out now, I think we're gonna learn a lot more by next week. So I do urge you guys, if you aren't already subscribed, subscribe, and also tune in next week. LewisFilms, personally for me, Spider-Man 3, I would really love a Spider-Girl Mayday Parker game, because that would be really awesome. I agree. I think Mayday gets a lot of disrespect. She isn't appreciated enough in the fandom. I'm sorry, but Miles has never really been interesting to me. Peter Parker's stories are always more better to watch and read. I think that's because Peter Parker has more history, and Jay, I know you love the Raimi movies. You've grew up with Peter Parker, so naturally you're always going to prefer Peter Parker. I think most of the fandom would agree with you. I prefer Peter Parker. He's my favorite Spider character, but that's not because That's not any disrespect to any other Spider character like Gwen, Miles, or Ben Reilly or whoever. It's just that he's existed for the longest, and he's the one that I grew up with. However, we will be moving into a time in the next 10 to 20 years or so where people have grown up with Miles Morales. People will grow up with Gwen Stacy. Maybe not Ben Reilly, but people will grow up with these characters, and they will be their favorite Spider-Mans. So yeah. Shout out to the Undercut F1 podcast, says 24 Breaks. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. That's my podcast channel, if anyone doesn't know. It's F1 though, so yeah, obviously this is why I haven't cross-pollinated it. You guys don't really know about it, but I do have another channel. It's a podcast. It's pretty cool. But yeah, I disagree. Tobey Maguire should have been the MCU Spider-Man. That's a very bold claim. I think he'd be too old, but it could have been interesting. But yeah, I feel like there's no problem with Miles coming in, especially since it seems they'll take notes from Insomniac. Peter in his prime with a young Miles doesn't have to be Spidey. Yeah, that's true. Honestly, Miles' story is awesome, especially because they managed to give this aftermath of Ultimate Parker's story, which was refreshing. The whole Prowler arc, Venom arc were good. I also agree that Marvel Comics should seriously let Peter Parker finally grow up and move forward and become an adult, similar to the Ultimate Spider-Man is doing right now. Yeah, I wish they'd do that. I really do. I really do. What do you think about Kung Fu Panda movies? Oh, I'm excited for the fourth one. We need to get the podcast to 650 followers by March. Yes, let's do it. 24 Bricks knows. Let's go. Follow us on Instagram. Andrew Garfield should have been the MCU Spider-Man, says SR Striker. Okay, here's a question just to end the stream with, because we are coming to the end. We haven't got a lot more news to cover. There's not much more news to cover here, but if not Tom Holland, one last poll: who should be the MCU Spider-Man? Andrew or Toby? Let's see. We're going to do a poll here. This is going to be interesting. This is actually probably the most interesting poll of the whole stream. I'm very, very curious. So people saying Toby, people saying Andrew. Like I've been saying for a very long time, Marvel should just finally let Peter Parker move forward and stop hiding him back from crap stories like terrible Gang War nonsense. Oh my god, right, by the way, Gang War's still coming out. I'm waiting till it's all out because I cannot stand reading it issue by issue. It's so bad. Just cut back to the Green Goblin stuff. That was interesting. Yeah, anyway. I feel like the perfect scenario would be Street Level Spider-Man 4 with Kingpin, Scorpion, Prowler, Mr. Negative as the main villains. That's way too many main villains in my opinion, but I agree. I do agree. So the mass amount of people have said Andrew. So Andrew has got the majority of the votes. I think that's kind of obvious though. I think Andrew was the closest Spider-Man to the MCU. So I think it makes the most sense. So I guess it makes the most sense. Toby would have been cool, though. Holland can be pretty amazing. Look at what he gives in Civil War or Homecoming. Toby doesn't need the Avengers. Oh, did you see Ben is coming back in AS? Yeah. I mean, I don't know if you guys have seen, but Gwen Stacy's coming back to the 616 universe as well. We don't know how, and we don't know why, and we don't know if it'll be the clone that never got that resolution. We don't know if it's going to be the Gwen Stacy. We don't know if it's going to be another clone. We don't know if it's going to be Spider-Gwen. We don't know who it is. But she's coming to the 616 universe. So, yeah. Cool, man. Hi, how we doing? Andrew was more relevant than, says Romantic Avocado. I completely agree. Do you think Spider-Man rights should go back to Marvel after the sets of Sony movies? See, this is an interesting point, isn't it? Because Sony are literally 50-50. Sony are quite literally, they either make the most amazing Spider-Man movies ever, i.e. Spider-Man 2, Tobey Maguire films, TASM 1, Into the Spider-Verse, Across the Spider-Verse. They're all Sony Pictures, by the way. Let's not forget this. Sony Pictures have made some of the best superhero movies on the planet, right? However, the Sonyverse definitely damages their reputation, and TASM 2, and Spider-Man 3. And in ASM 50, Green Goblin is back. See, I don't mind this. Now, I was against Green Goblin ever showing up ever again. I think it's stupid. Don't rehash stories. Why? Yeah, don't do it. But if there's one good thing that's coming out of ASM at the moment, it's the fact that we're getting another Green Goblin in Spider-Man Showdown. So, also, Madam Web is a train wreck. Yep. Just add that in at the end, just slightly. Yep, Madam Web, it's out now. No one really cares that it's a movie, but we're just going to slip it in there. We have to. We have to. They're bringing back Gwen again? Yeah, they are, yeah. They're bringing her back. I'm so scared. But luckily, it's Greg Weisman writing it. So I'm hoping there's some sort of twist or there's some sort of grievance. There's something going on. I'm not saying it's a bad thing at the moment, right? Because Gwen coming back is always bad. Should never happen. But it's Greg Weisman, so I'm kind of holding out that it's good. No, it's Spider-Gwen. Is it Spider-Gwen? Is it been confirmed that it's Spider-Gwen? I'm kind of thing is with the Greg Weisman book, I'm kind of trying to avoid spoilers. I'm trying to go into it fresh so I can make a video on it and give you my honest thoughts rather than having thoughts fester up. But my friend sent me something on Discord. Ray sent me something on Discord with Gwen. And I couldn't, obviously, I was just like, oh my god. No, it's Spider-Gwen. Yeah, is it Spider-Gwen? Okay. Right. Personally, for me, I'm hoping it's not real Gwen Stacy. If Baggins is what says Baggins is true, then yeah, Spider-Gwen, which I guess could be interesting. We'll see. We'll see, shall we? But yeah. Anyway, that's pretty much it for the news this week. Thank you very much for watching. I actually want to know in the chat right now, if you guys are in the chat and you've been commenting, I want to know in the chat right now, have you enjoyed this format? Just the sit down, obviously, as you can see in the top corner there, the Spider Talk weekly live news show. Do you think we should keep this format? Do you think we should do it next week? Because if it's a thing, we can make it a weekly thing. And I'm late but sure, says Romantic Avocado. Yes, it's good. Yep. No one ever agrees with me, says Jay. I agree with you. I think Tobey Maguire's amazing. Zendaya should have been Spider-Gwen. Missed opportunity. That could be interesting. Maybe we should. Yeah, it's fun and interactive. Lovely. Loved it, mate, says Connor. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for watching. I do appreciate that. I like the interactivity of this. Love this new format, says 24 breaks. Okay. Weekly thing is up to you if you want to. Yeah, well, I'm planning to do it weekly, so obviously I stream every Tuesday. Or well, I say I stream every Tuesday. But I'm trying to keep it consistent now, obviously, and make it a news show. I was running out of things to stream, so news that comes out in the week, we'll talk about it on here. We'll talk about it's a nice format. I'll probably get some kind of graphic design so you guys can see all the topics on the screen. Yeah, LewisFilms, I understand. I think Sony might transition fully to animated movies and just merge the SSU into the MCU. Oh my god, I'd hate if they did that. Yeah. Okay. Lovely. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for your feedback. I want to remind you guys that I've got a actually, before we end the stream, I'm actually going to plug this. I'm so sorry. You guys probably don't want to see that. Well, actually, you'll be interested because it's Spider-Man related. I'm plugging this. It's a Spider-Gwen audiobook. Audio drama coming soon on Lewis Fiction. I've just announced it. Make sure to go subscribe to the channel. More updates coming soon. It's going to be hopefully really good. I'm currently in the process of casting a voice actress to play the role of Gwen Stacy, so it isn't me narrating the story. It will be an actual actress playing the role of Gwen Stacy, narrating the story to you all. It should be about 15 minutes long. That's all the details I have on the series at this moment in time, but more details coming soon. So yeah, hopefully you guys do enjoy that when it comes out. Just gonna plug that in right there, plugging it in. All right. With that being said, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys hopefully tomorrow for my video, which is going to be on Spectacular Spider-Man. Everyone loves a bit of Spectacular Spider-Man every once in a while, and yeah, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.